What's going on, Vikings fans? Welcome to the Vikings Now. I'm your host for today's show, Patrick Siepman. And on today's show, we're going to be diving into some takeaways that I've had from Minnesota Vikings OTAs. This is a pretty fun video. I kind of hopped into the news and rumors interwebs right now and kind of got a ton of cool quotes coming from players, coaches, about kind of just what's going on at the Minnesota Vikings OTA periods. So we're going to be diving into all that and more. But guys, hit that subscribe button. If you love the Vikings, hate the Packers, and think the Vikings are getting disrespected by the national media, and if you want daily videos, let's focus on the Vikings are getting disrespected by the national media, because I swear, it's every single year this Minnesota Vikings team. It doesn't matter what they did last year. It doesn't matter what they do in the offseason. No Big J NFL media will ever pick the Vikings. So if you think the Vikings are disrespected, just go down there and hit that sub button. But guys, takeaway number one from Minnesota Vikings OTAs, Brian Asamoah has been absolutely fantastic. And the Vikings coaching staff is pretty much foaming at the mouth to get this guy out there and have a successful second year for the kid. This is actually what Vikings linebacker coach Mike Saravo had to say about Brian Asamoah and just kind of how he's doing at OTA so far. He says he's one of those chess pieces that you're going to see him all over the field. He could rush, he could drop, he could do a bunch of different things. He's athletic enough to play man, talking about man-to-man coverage and defense, and that's true. And honestly, Brian Asamoah is going to have to step up in this linebacker room. He is going to need to be the top dog in this room. And honestly, you look at this room overall, you got Jordan Hicks, you got Ivan Pace Jr., and they're going to be solid guys, even a guy like Troy Reeder, who I like. But the Vikings linebacker room, a lot of this is going to have to fall on Brian Asamoah's shoulders. He's going to need to be the all-pro, Pro Bowl type of linebacker. And like Mike Serrano said, he is fast enough. You can kind of display him every which way. You can blitz him off the edge. You can drop him in the man on a linebacker. We saw that play in the Giants regular season game. He was fantastic. He had the punch out against Daniel Bellinger and recovered it himself. I'm just overall extremely excited to see Asamoah play this year. He's so fast. He just pops off your screen every single time you watch him play. So, guys, go show Brian Asamoah some love. I'll make this the pinned comment. Why not on today's video? Go down there, type some 33s. If you're excited to see him play, excited to see him get all over the football field and then just be making plays left and right. YouTube would throw you an ad break right now. While it's playing, go show Brian Asamoah some love. Takeaway number two for me was Alexander Mattison is starting to look like a clear RB1, just with reps and everything. He's been the top dog in that Vikings running back room so far. And honestly, I'm excited, and I feel happy for Alexander Mattison. Obviously, he's a long-tenured Minnesota Viking, so it's cool that he is finally kind of getting this chance. This is what he had to say. I'm being back with the Vikings. This is what he said at OTAs. He says, I'm happy. I love it here. I always tell people I wouldn't rather play anywhere else. It's just an unbelievable organization, an unbelievable locker room, a team full of amazing guys, amazing coaches, and an amazing staff. So I'm blessed to be back, and I'm happy to have Mattison back as well. Obviously, this past season, he didn't put up too strong of numbers, but still, 283 yards, under 4 yards per carry. Obviously, that's not the best. But again, Alexander Mattison wasn't really getting a ton of touches last season, and most of his touches come from when Dalvin Cook is hurt. So overall, this Vikings kind of running back room, Dalvin Cook most likely won't be on the team. I don't know. There's a report that he could have taken a pay cut and staying with the Vikings. I don't really know if that's too likely. Kene Nwangwu, Ty Chandler, C.J. Ham, Dwayne McBride. I really love this group. The reason I have love for this group is I want this to be more of a running back by committee. I want this to be more kind of split carries between the three. If they're going Kene Nwangwu, Dwayne McBride, Ty Chandler, Mattison, split those carries between those four. If it's shorter yard distance, go Mattison. If you want more of a home run play, go a guy like Kene Nwangwu. If you kind of want to just change a pace back, go a little Ty Chandler. That's why I do think more of a running back by committee will be best for the Minnesota Vikings this next season. And then you know what that does? It keeps your legs fresh when it's December, when it's January, when you really need to establish a run in a big-time playoff game and those big-time divisional games, especially on the road. They always say it, defense and a running game. That's what travels. Your offense isn't always going to travel. You got to have a consistent running game, and that's what the Vikings didn't really have last season. So I'd go more running back by committee, split the carries up. I don't know. That's what I would do. But who do you guys think is going to be the Vikings' leading rusher in 2023. I think it could go a lot of different ways here, frankly. I think you could go Alexander Mattison. You could even go wild card like a Dwayne McBride, the 7th-round rookie, or who knows. If you think Dalvin Cook's going to stay on the team, you could also type Dalvin Cook down below. Let me know who will be the Vikings' leading rusher in the 2023 season. Takeaway number 3 for me, the Vikings defense looks intense. And this is just kind of the reports from players, coaches, whoever it may be that has been at Vikings OTAs. This Vikings defense are playing intense, they're hitting hard, and they're getting it done. And it's just kind of the Brian Flores kind of culture that he is instilling here with the Minnesota Vikings, which I just can't wait. And, yeah, we don't need to go that trace. Don't worry about that. But this is some quotes that some Vikings offensive players have actually said about the defense. They have used these 3 words: exotic, intense, and crazy. And tell me that just doesn't fire you up. If that's the way the offensive players are describing this Vikings defense, I just can't wait to watch them play because it's got to be better than what it was last season. I mean, you guys know the stats. You guys know how bad this defense was. Damn near last in about every statistical category last season. I mean, you could really make an argument that they had the worst defense in the NFL last year. I mean, giving up 6 yards per play is just embarrassing. So I'm hoping it changes. And a lot of the pressure will fall on these 4 guys, I'll say, is like Andrew Booth Jr., Evans, Asamoah, and Cena. I've been talking about these guys all off season long. These 4 guys, if they kind of take that next step and develop into really solid starters in the NFL, like we could really see this defense kind of take that next kind of step in the right direction. So I'm excited to see these 4 play next season. All 4 of these guys, you know what they have in common? They're fast, they hit hard, and they're extremely versatile. And that fits right into Brian Flores. And speaking of Brian Flores, this is my takeaway number 4. Brian Flores is the captain now, and I am super excited about it. We got rid of the Ed Donatel, kind of soft shell zone coverage, whatever he was watching. I'm just excited to see Brian Flores and just watch this kind of defense, just watch them ball a little bit. Like, I'm excited to see them get after it. Like, we know what the Vikings' kind of offensive plan is. You know, let's get the ball to Jefferson. Let's get the ball to Cook, whatever it may be. But we really don't know what this defense is going to look like, and it's going to look completely different. And Greg Cosell, he's an NFL film analysis guy, and somebody asked him, was like, what defense do you think is going to change the most from last year to this next year? He said the Minnesota Vikings. In terms of production and just scheme, the Vikings defense is going to look totally different. That's why I'm excited to watch them play. But funny enough, Christian Darrisaw had this to say about Brian Flores. He says it's crazy. It's only day 2 of OTAs, and Flores is bringing looks that you'd be getting on day 15. But it's only going to help us get better, and I'm excited to see them boys fly around when they have a different opponent. It's going to be fun. And, yeah, it is going to be fun. I want this defense to prove a lot of people wrong this upcoming year because I feel like people are just assuming Vikings defense was bad last year. They didn't really add too many good, players or big-time players, I guess. So I want them to go prove them wrong. Like, you have those 4 guys that I just mentioned coming back next season. You got Byron Murphy, Marcus Davenport. Like, play with some swag, play with a chip on your shoulder because, hey, man, nobody believes in you. Nobody believes in this side of the football. Go out there and prove them wrong. And speak about that Vikings defense, Flores says this is what they're going to try and do. So we're all trying to find out what guys do best and put them in positions to do what they do well. Flores says it's hard to do that because so much of the game is physical, so you're forecasting based on what you've seen without pads. A lot of the field decisions of what we're going to be are going to be made down the road. So it's kind of Flores' philosophy going into this season. But I ask you guys, grade the Vikings defense heading in the next season. Give it a Madden style. Obviously, they only go 1 through 99. Right now, I'll keep it simple. They're probably about a 75, 76 overall. And the next season, maybe it'll be an 86, 87 overall. And if that happens, the Vikings are going to be a damn good football team. So let me know down in the comments section. As always, you guys can follow me on Twitter. I'll be tweeting about the Vikings all offseason long. It's going to be a fun year. I actually do think the Vikings are going to be pretty damn solid. I don't know if they got Super Bowl aspirations in their kind of midst, but I do think they're going to be good. I think they're going to win the division. If you guys want anything more on Vikings news and rumors, give me a follow on Twitter. See you guys next time. Skol Vikes.